Welcome to the Brewtiful Game. As always, I am Blake, here with Ferris, who is muted, I think, and Ron.
What's happening?
You still there, Ferris? Oh, God. We have just literally started this. God, we can't escape.
He's muted.
The COVID video conference situations. where
That's so great.
Oh, my God. I hear you, but we can't hear you.
What's great is nothing has changed. All you did was press record.
I just hit record. Everything was absolutely fine. Hit record, and all of a sudden, Ferris had disappeared. You even got some nice Beats headphones on, man, so I know that it works. Like, maybe
too funny.
Maybe try unplugging your headset and plugging it back in. That just
can you even hear us?
I don't know. This is great. I mean, I guess I could just start over, but I feel like this is an honest reflection of what's happening in the world right now.
This is so great.
You back, Ferris?
Hola?
Oh, there you go.
Hey, what'd you do?
I just kind of like mess with the cord because I'm looking at the screen side guys are saying that I'm like muted and I'm clearly not, so I have no clue.
Great. So instead you got a janky cord.
Well, I'm going to actually change out the cord real quick just to be safe.
Maybe you weren't pushed into the jack.
Oh, yeah, I think you're fine now. I think you just weren't pushed in all the way. Yeah, you're probably fine to use your Beats with Dre. All right, switching on over.
Yeah, just to be safe.
All right, there we go.
B with D.
It's okay, man. As Eddie Izzard says, but in reverse. Sometimes I like to start the show with a bit of a, and we did that pretty well, I feel like.
Well, can we, start again or something? I don't know.
Do you feel a little...
We have never just, quote, started over.
Wait, here we go. I'll make Ferris feel better. Ladies and gentlemen, here he is, Michael Ferris!
Hola.
Oh, Ferris, good to have you on the show. It's a good reaction from the crowd here in the studio at the Brewtiful Game. Yeah, making the most of that MP3 digital pad.
All four of you out there listening.
Hey, man, we have football back.
Oh my God, I can't. I'm so excited. I can't.
Not only do we have football back, we have Premier League back. We have Serie A back.
Yeah,
we have
MLS
NWSL
is coming back.
Is back.
NWSL is back as of last
2 games in.
First, which I just had someone point out, like that's the first female sport on a network, on a national network. Like you get it over air. You know what I mean? Like it was on CBS.
Yeah.
And there was some good playing to watch yesterday too. But not only that, since last week chatted, we obviously had Bundesliga going, but between the last one to now, we've had 2 leagues have their champions declared, and it's weird because it's so late date wise, but here we are.
Yeah, because normally every league would already have their champions named because they all end about early to mid-May, and sometimes earlier. Teams are just blowing everybody away, but now we're starting to name them. And to be honest with you, I kind of forgot what time of the year it is. I forgot that it was June, and just feel like we just restarted the season back to
it feels
April,
like
May, or wherever.
It feels like we time travel.
Yeah, it definitely doesn't feel like the end of June.
No, we time traveled in like the crappiest way possible.
Well, that's true.
So,
look at Mikel Arteta's pants. Aren't those nice and tight?
Hey, man, and right now it's true as we record this. It's FA Cup, little Sheffield United hosting the Arsenal. It's about 77 minutes in, and Arsenal's up 1-0. And I'm just waiting
Sheffield United
to screw it up.
God almighty, they haven't been able to buy a goal since they've restarted play.
Is it 2 or 3 they've had recalled?
2 in this match so far, having been recalled at VAR.
Don't worry. In the 95th, they'll score. And then it'll go into extra time, and they'll score again, right? Because we're in
and
the
then they'll win. Yeah,
right? Yep,
that's exactly how it goes.
Yep, because here's a set piece even. See, so I mean, this is where Arsenal screws it up completely. If it's
they're terrible at defending any sort of corner. They always have been. They're goddamn zonal marking in the box. Arsene Wenger used to try to sound so smart. We've done zonal marking. It works 90% of the time in training, but like 0% of the time in the game. Yeah, because it them over every freaking game.
60% of the time, it works every time.
Every time.
Well, it feels very weird to actually look at our content sheets and have Premier League.
Yeah, there's actually soccer matches on it.
Yeah, it feels normal. There's a table up here. There's scores. There's well, let's just do this. So we jump into. Oh wait. Geez, look how thrown off I am. What are you talking about? We got to get to beer. Sorry, it's like.
Nuts, Blake.
Like 9:40 in the morning. I wasn't.
This isn't the Beautiful Game podcast. It's the Brewtiful Game podcast.
Oh, speaking of,
man, you get a couple weeks off and suddenly you forget about beer.
Jesus.
Well, it's the games are on and back, and I can't even keep things straight. And plus, Ferris just gave us a digital tour of his new place with the Brewtiful bar that he set up, which was pretty rad.
Yeah, isn't that great?
Yeah, I did a little bit of that when he got into the house, and courtesy of Home Depot and Lowe's, built a little bar shelf top. And
just for the record, Lowe's and Home Depot are not sponsoring us.
No, correct. No. They are not. They just happen to be the two main hardware stores. And yeah,
you could go to Ace Hardware and pay more, but why would you?
Right.
All right.
It's kind of like when you go down the street and you want to go to Walgreens, but there's also a CVS across the way. So it's just whatever's on the side of the road where your car can turn in.
Yes, the
one of those
CVS Walgreens dichotomy. They're always next to each other. Yeah.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
McDonald's, Burger King. Yeah.
The rare Rite Aid pops up.
It's very rare nowadays.
Or if you live in Florida, do I go to the Publix that's 100 yards away or the one that's 115 yards away?
Yeah,
or I like the cheese, the one that's 150 yards away.
Right. Which one of them has sushi, and then which one of them has a liquor store? That's what we got to figure out.
Well, luckily, the new one by me has a liquor store.
Nice.
So I finally have, because otherwise I had these, God love them for being small private liquor stores, but they were expensive. They were very expensive. Come on, Arsenal. I want you to clean it up and make it an even. Nah. Why make it an even two? Make it difficult for yourself. That's fine. This rotating squad of Arsenal, man. Although the Premier League is so weird, we've got quintuple changes to talk about and stuff. Oh God, it's so crazy.
What? Yeah. All right. So something that I noticed probably about 15 minutes ago in this match.
First.
Oh.
First,
all right,
beer first.
See
it's so fun bashing on Arsenal though that you just can't.
I mean, it's so easy. Let's just put it that way.
Somebody's gonna win a bet. Well, somebody's gonna win a bet.
We'll see.
It's gonna be Ferris.
I'm not gonna have to drink it for a change.
There's still a few games left. So I'll go first because this beer is a company we've had before. Ron can actually speak to the company better than I can, but this is from Creemore. It's a beer from Ontario up in Canada the company we've had, but this is their lot number 9. To give lot number 9 is inspired by a rugged patch of land and the hard work that transformed it. This Pilsner is made of patience, integrity, and determination. Wait a minute. I got to start over. That's too good. This Pilsner is made of patience, integrity, and determination. And each sip reveals it's worth it. Raise a glass to doing things the right way, not the easy way. I added the A because they're Canadian. Get it? Yeah.
Jesus.
Damn it.
Hey, it's bright and early. I've had my coffee. Dad jokes are ready to roll.
Oh, funny.
So that's my beer. A nice crisp Pilsner for this early morning. What y'all got?
All right. Go for it, Ferris.
Well, this is definitely a brewery that we have had on the pod before, and it's one that we've actually all had fairly recently, but I don't believe we've actually had it on the pod. It is a very cool cousin to what is known as High Life. I have the White Oak High Life.
You want to know a fun little trivia with that?
Go ahead.
A guy Ron and I know, a master brewer who now is the head brewer for Lancaster Brewing Company up in Pennsylvania. He was down here he worked down here at Brew Hub for a couple of years. He is the guy that helped develop the White Oak recipe.
Really?
For Tampa Bay Brewing. Yep.
That's awesome.
Because when he was down here, he came to visit me, and he brought like a case of all the beers. Since Brew Hub brews for a lot of people, he brought me a case of the beers, the different stuff that he had either brewed, like they had given the recipe, and so Brew Hub makes it, or ones that he had helped them develop, and that was one of the ones he helped them develop.
That's awesome.
Didn't we have it at one of our get-togethers right before I left this last time?
Correct. Yeah. So we've definitely had it together, but I don't believe we've had it on the pod yet. The White Oak Highlight is an oak-aged IPA. It's only usually available, and they don't always do it every year, but it's available between April and June. And did you know that a truly unique Indian Pale Ale White Oak Highlight boosts the addition of white oak spirals to impart sleek notes of vanilla, coconut, and a touch of dill to highlight bold citrus and caramel character. The oak also serves to temper the bitterness in the 70 IBU base beer, while oak tannins elegantly dry the beer's body to create a unique drinking experience that still remains true to Highlight's unique qualities.
I love Highlight's like a good standby beer here in Florida because you can get it everywhere. I will say the White Oak version, I think once you have that, I like that one the best.
Damn good. Now, also, one of the reasons why I did this is because I saw on Cigar City's Instagram page that they're actually coming out with another version of Highlight.
Ooh, sweet.
It is going to be called Spanish Cedar Highlight.
Ooh.
And it looks quite tasty. It is it's the same beer as was loved in the Humidor Series IPA, is now going to expand to notions of wood-rested ales as Spanish Cedar Highlight. So I guess a few years back they did a Humidor series, because if you don't know, Tampa Bay is a very big cigar area. They used to have a lot of factories there that made cigars, and then over the years they've slowly shut down as those operations have moved on, but it's still a very big area. The Ybor down there is known as a cigar city area, so they did that, and they're going to come out with a new Highlight here soon, and I'm looking forward to trying that.
And don't forget, once you start traveling back down to Central Florida, it is worth the trip there to go to the Tampa Bay Brewing's restaurant and get I called it the calzone, but it was their cheeseburger calzone, I think.
Oh, yeah, right down the street from them. Yeah, very, very good.
All right, Ron, what's your beer?
So I have two things on the whole beer front. One is the beer I'm drinking. We've never had on the pod, nor have we had the brewery on the pod, probably because it's Chinese. I am doing the national favorite Tsingtao from Tsingtao Brewing.
Oh, man.
This is pretty much the national beer of China. Tsingtao Brewery is from Qingdao in China. And this brewery owns about 15% of the domestic market share. And they make their most popular beer is the lager. And it's about 4.7 ABV, founded in 1903 by German settlers.
Oh, that's cool.
They started up a brewery, and now it's the nation's beer.
The German.
And it's super tasty. It's a really light and crisp lager. And it's basically China's version of Budweiser.
Except it already sounds
it's like a rice beer.
Better.
And it's good. Yeah. It's a rice beer, and it's good.
Oh, there it goes, guys. So, I told you.
What happened?
Hold on. I think I might be a little bit behind. That's a hell of a throw.
I told you Arsenal was going to screw it up.
That's a goal in the 86.
Told you. Well, okay. I thought 95th, but there you go. I wasn't too far off.
So there's one other surprise.
Oh, that wasn't a surprise, Ron. Arsenal's terrible.
There's a surprise. So a friend of mine was out traveling during the COVID period, and a couple of weeks ago on the pod, I talked about a beer called Pliny the Younger.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And how it's a really popular beer. It's only sold for 2 weeks in March, blah, blah. I managed to secure 2 bottles of that Pliny the Younger.
Dude, that's like a holy grail beer for craft brewers. That's awesome.
So I'm going to have them get in touch with you, Blake, and deliver it to you so that you and Ferris can give it a try.
Wow.
I sadly am in China and cannot, but you guys should try it because it's such a rare and amazing beer. In the 2.5 weeks that it was selling, it brought $5.3 million to the brewery. So, yeah. Happy summer.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Heck yeah. That's exciting.
Awesome.
Well, yeah, because that'll knock another one off because the other one we had that was an IPA that was a big deal was the Heady Topper from Alchemist Brewing, right? So that's another big, like, because Pliny the Younger, they don't distribute very much. So it's hard to get a hold of them. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Ooh. Wow.
Yeah. So I'll get you guys in contact with each other so he can send it your way, and then you're gonna have to taste it for me live on the pod.
We'll let you know exactly what it tastes like.
Can do.
So that means you got a lager, I got a Pilsner, and Ferris, you got a pale ale, right?
An IPA starting at 9:52 in the morning.
Yep.
Oh, there it is.
Here we go. Let's get that.
And by the way, look at the old.
Oh, nice.
Top.
Oh, it's got the old like can that like peels the whole top off.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
That brings back
We
some
had one of those
Schaefer
in the
memories.
pod a while ago, right?
Yeah.
I don't remember what it was. Oh, Arsenal almost gave up a second.
I wonder how many people
From
have
Billy Sharp. Oh my God! If Billy Sharp scores and dumps Arsenal out of the cup, I'm going online right now and buying a Billy Sharp Sheffield United kit.
You need to actually
mark my words. He almost buried that.
You need to ask like someone like United World Soccer or whatever. Can they actually put like Billy effing Sharp like?
Oh
on
my God, that'd be amazing.
That would be so fun.
Well, seeing as how Ferris is leading the way on fantasy right now, I guess Ron and I are responsible for asking about that.
Yeah, I came back with a vengeance.
Yeah, you did, you dill hole.
Yes.
I'm actually not doing bad, but it's just it's tough right now too because the games are so quick. You're like, I got to reset my team for tomorrow. Oh my God, it's already tomorrow. Like, yeah, it's
who's my captain? Who's not?
Yeah,
you'll be really shocked to know that I pretty much completely forgot about it.
Yeah, Ron is holding down last place pretty well.
As soon as it gets to about November, Ron's gone.
Yeah, he totally forgets.
But you gotta admit, when I put my mind to it, I hang around
You're doing good.
the second, third, fourth spot, and then I see something shiny, and that's the end of it.
Squirrel.
All right, gents, shall we try these beers?
Absolutely.
God, this smells amazing. Cheers, gentlemen.
Sriracha.
Cheers.
As predicted. God, this Creemore beer is so good. Ron, what do we have? A pale ale of theirs?
This white oak is
yes.
so tasty.
This tastes like a Pilsner Urquell style, that real like Czech Pilsner, but so fresh. Oh my God, this is good.
This
What the hell?
This is a lager.
Arsenal
but
actually
it's pretty.
scored?
Did Arsenal just score?
Yes.
Wait,
Daniel
it's
Ceballos.
2-1?
It is 2-1.
Ceballos scored?
Yes.
Oh my gosh. Guys, end times are in fact coming. This is the fifth sign, just in case you're wondering. Well, I'll take it.
Blake, if we end up meeting each other in the FA Cup semifinal,
Double or nothing?
do we double down on the bet?
Oh man.
That's dangerous.
Well, I do have me some 2 bottles or 2 cans of that red snapper.
I don't know if I want to risk that because right now I'm going away squeaky clean with not having to drink any of that shit.
You ain't lying. That's a pretty fun. Bet for those of you. It's been a while. We have a bet that I made over our terrible butternut beer that if Arsenal ended on top, Ferris would have to drink it, and if they didn't, I would. Because last time we did that was 2 seasons ago. Arsenal ended above United, and Ferris had to drink the last of the
Moo Thunder.
God, that was a brilliant day in the neighborhood.
Oh man, so gross.
And he put ice cream in it to try and make it better.
Well, here's the thing, Ferris. There's two ways to do double or nothing. We'll see if they end up in the semifinal together. Because I've got 2 cans of Red Snapper and 1 can of Cookie Puss.
Oh, I don't know which is worse.
Well, you could do it cowboy style, like that nasty swill they would sell people, where they pour every leftover drink into a bowl.
Oh, that's
suicide. Is that what they're called?
When you were a kid, you did that to the lunch ladies. You just put all your food in that bowl.
Yep.
No thanks.
Oh yeah.
I think you should have to. I think if you lose, you should have to shotgun the Cookie Puss.
Shotgun is actually, I think, better.
Not with Cookie Puss, it ain't.
Because the problem is this.
Do you remember him repeating it?
Oh yeah, it's true. It's so gross.
Well, several times. Oh
God. Well, we can move on to some football and actually let you know exactly how bad Blake's bet is doing at the current time. It ain't good. That's for sure.
It's not looking too good. That's absolutely for certain.
Did we lose a Ron?
I think he just clicked pause and probably went to throw up after talking about Cookie Puss.
Cookie Puss. I thought it was kind of. I mean, I was like, he shouldn't go away. Who I talk about football? Your club's actually doing good.
I was trying to see if I could replay the Cookie Puss burp and have you hear it on the air, but you couldn't.
Oh yeah, I'll have to dig around and find that. I got to add it to the sound pad here on the recording software.
Lovely, thank you.
All right, man. Well, here we are, match week 30. We actually get to talk. God, it's so weird to be semi-normal.
Yeah, and I think this was actually Sheffield and Aston Villa's match week 29 because they were a game behind, but it kind of kick-started off. Yeah, it kind of kick-started off everybody coming back into Premier League and getting things going where a majority of everybody was playing match week 30.
And so VAR, did they end up dropping it?
No.
They did not end up dropping. They had the option, remember? No.
Correct.
There wasn't the option if they wanted to. So instead, they decided to drop goal line technology.
Apparently.
As the Aston Villa.
And that has come to haunt everybody.
Yeah. As the Aston Villa haunts Sheffield United, the goal line technology just didn't work.
So weird. That's like the most reliable.
They're called, it's not like Eagle Eye.
Hawkeye,
that's what it is. That was close. And they've even issued an apology immediately following the game.
But I didn't see. What did the apology include?
The technology failed. It should have been a goal, and the technology just failed.
How did it fail? Did Bob down the way unplug something? Did he not charge his phone? Like, what the hell happened?
How long have you been working in live entertainment? Come on.
Yeah, I know.
We hit record and your microphone stopped working for no reason.
Yeah, true. I mean, it's just this is the most reliable of the technologies to help aid the game, and something that should be so simple in the fact that does the whole of the ball cross the line?
Well, Hawkeye, my question is this:
how many times do you see it working in tennis and everything? You know,
but because there's goal line, does that mean VAR cannot check?
I don't know I don't know. I don't, Ron. If you know the answer to that, I could not figure that out. But because VAR didn't intervene, I'm only guessing that they didn't, but being that VAR has been very inept for a majority of the year, who the hell knows?
Right.
So what's interesting is if you are going to pull VAR for a goal decision, most times it is not actually looking at the ball crossing the goal line. It is looking for the human players to be doing something or not doing something. Anytime there's a goal question, they go right to Hawkeye. And, the ref is wearing a monitor that essentially tells him when the ball has crossed the line.
Correct, yeah.
So pretty much everyone has gotten relatively complacent because of how accurate the goal line technology has been. So no one's actually looking at the goal anymore. They're all looking at the players to make sure there is or is not a foul, and so that they can call that part accurately.
So they're not paying attention to necessarily the ball going in.
Right.
Yeah, it's a. And by the way, it's a game that just ended.
How many times have you seen? Sorry, how many times have you seen the ball bounces around between the post, the crossbar, and the ground, and the ref calls a goal, and everybody's looking around with their hands up like, what do you mean that was a goal? And the ref just, points to the watch and goes, well, I got a thing. And then they move on.
Yeah,
right?
but
So
that I still like.
But I don't
it's
know.
So blatant that everybody knew the ball crossed the line.
Well, and what
that
can
goal
VAR,
line failed. Okay, but then why can't VAR intervene and go, well, listen, we have 13 million cameras viewing all of
with
this.
With one being directly above.
Correct. Why can't they call and just say, hey, you might want to have a second look at that, right? Because they can still go over to the monitor on the pitch.
So, well, that's true, but they don't. The league has gotten so complacent. There have been over 9,000 matches without a single issue with the system.
That's pretty good.
So everyone is very complacent with that. And so Hawkeye said that they do apologize, but they said all 7 cameras that look at the goal were obscured by the goalkeeper and how he was holding the ball. Just listen. By the way the goalkeeper was holding the ball, how he had fallen because he was kind of hanging on to the net at the time, and his arm was wrapped around the ball, and his shoulder was obscuring. But also the defender had was standing at the post. And so that obscured, allegedly, the remainder of the cameras because of the body position of those 2 people.
So it's like a perfect storm that you probably can't repeat.
Yeah, it's almost like the perfect storm that allowed Hawkeye to up.
Poor Hawkeye, the Avenger with no powers.
Yeah, it's interesting because there's a lot of people, saying, we went to Tottenham last year and Lundstrom's big toe was offside. And we called it as an offside, but we couldn't figure out that this was a goal.
I think that is the problem.
It was pretty entertaining.
I think that is the problem of bringing VAR into the situation, so that when something like this happens, you do go, wait, because there have been offsides called that would not have been called without VAR, by far, because they were splitting the difference. They would have just given the advantage to the attacking team. So you split those hairs, but then you come to this and go, wait, we can't figure out the ball went in.
Yeah. And the thing that they're not kind of that Hawkeye didn't come out and say, they did say that it was 9,000 matches, but they haven't said a system failure and how many goals in those 9,000 matches, right? Because that would give you your failure rate, and the failure rate for this is astronomically small. So it's just one of those things.
And it's also rough, though, because it's a game that matters a lot, both for Sheffield in their position and for Aston Villa in their position. Like, that's the thing that really sucks.
And that kind of turned Sheffield down a path where they have looked really bad since returning. So how big is that goal if that goes in, that they get a bit of confidence coming out of the break to
let's talk about how
possibly
bad,
roll on and get more points, because right now they have not.
Talk about how bad Sheffield is. They just lost to Arsenal.
So I don't know if you guys can see the picture on screen.
Yeah,
you can't see the ball.
The defender here is blocking the post from 2 different angles, a side view and a front view. And the goalkeeper here is fallen into the net and is kind of behind the post. So he's really stacked up. It's just, I think it's just one of those things. It doesn't happen very often, and
can't see the line, can you, Russ?
Nope.
Nope, sure can't.
Yeah,
Russ?
Well, and it puts Aston Villa. Well, I mean, obviously that wasn't their goal, but I mean, it's interesting for the setup because Sheffield could be in a European spot right. Well, maybe not quite a European spot right now, but just outside of. And then instead, they're sitting, what are they, 8? Yeah, 8th with 44 points. And like you said, Ferris, it feels like with Arsenal, Crystal Palace, and Burnley below them, and Everton, they could easily be knocked right down out of all the Europe, making it very hard for them to try to get a spot into Europe. Yeah. Right now, they're in a competitive spot, but
right, and we got to keep in mind Sheffield United just came up this year, so Premier League survival is number one key. They were shooting well above their weight, but it would have been nice to see them pull like what a Wolves did and really make the most of coming up. And I'm not saying that this is going to ruin their season for them, but it certainly didn't help. And when you're coming back off of a month or two being off and have a chance to score a goal, like it was a fairly early in the game, if I'm not mistaken, that could have pushed them on to get some momentum into these last 9 games. And so far it seems to do the opposite effect, and they haven't really produced much of anything.
Well, it's also, we said this a few times on the pods before the leagues came back, was it's going to be very interesting to see what teams still have chemistry and what teams come back kind of off. Sheffield United for a majority of the season was firing on all thrusters, and coming back out of this COVID off period, they just have not had a good run at keeping the chemistry up, keeping the attacking up. Their midfield looks kind of listless and out of sorts. So it doesn't really feel like the same Sheffield United now.
No, it doesn't bode well for them moving forward at all. It definitely looks like they're having some struggles.
I mean, even if they don't finish in the top 10 and they finish, I don't know, up to 12th place, even if, 16th place, it's still a win, right? This season has not been terrible for them. They're not going to get relegated. They're going to stay up. So they can, use that momentum of staying up, kind of like the Wolves did, and build to that next year.
No, I agree. And they could definitely be a team that if they hold that kind of thought together. Ooh. But it's also tough though. If they come off if they have a slump here, it also is hard when it comes to signing players, because it's just harder to get people. Like right now, Wolves, right? It's gonna be easier for them to get signed good players, because if they can hold on to this, it looks like a team on the up. You know what I mean? Maybe you get someone you couldn't have gotten before. If Sheffield don't, it's going to be hard,
Sheffield needs a good bit of scoring, though.
Mm-hmm.
Agreed.
And while I love Billy Sharp, he's more of an off-the-bench spark. And he's getting up there in his age and time at the club. And he's not a reliable goal scorer in the top flight as what they need to really push for a European place or to constantly be in the top 10. So they need to go out and find themselves a reliable number 9, as well as really another midfielder. Their back line is pretty damn good, and that back 3 with the wing backs that they play is very reliable. They also might have to find themselves a goalie, because Dean Henderson is actually only on loan to them from Manchester United, and with his form and De Gea getting up there in age and his form kind of being a little bit shaky, United could recall him from loan in the offseason.
Yeah.
So
who is that?
Sheffield United, Dean Henderson.
Yeah, doesn't he sound like the Dean from Animal House?
Yeah, right.
Dean Henderson.
So it's going to be interesting to see how Sheffield finish the year. Will they finish in the top 10 or not? That might have been one of my bold predictions, but regardless, they're going to survive. They're at 44 points, so they're above that 40-point mark. It's just now what do they do in the offseason, which is going to be a very weird offseason for everybody, because now the transfer window doesn't open until like September or something.
You actually bring up
it's
interesting.
So weird.
Yeah, right. You bring up an interesting Brewtiful Game fact. This season is now so weird. you mentioned our predictions. I don't want you to tell us what they were. I think I'm going to be so surprised because I can't remember.
Oh, yeah.
Like this season halt has just tossed all that out of the window for me. I think I had one about the Wolves. Can't even remember. Like,
yeah.
Like,
don't recall.
It's oh, well. Speaking of what I don't recall, is Arsenal beating Man City anytime in recent history? And they sure didn't do it. And Man City hosted Arsenal and whooped that butt 3-0.
Yeah,
but really, it was Man City versus David Luiz. That's really the.
And David Luiz is always gonna.
Actually, let me reverse that.
Be worse for wear.
It was David Luiz versus Arsenal. That's really what was happening. He was. I don't know.
It's the hair.
When I have seen one player so badly obliterate their own team, that bad. Not like
but you know what? But you know what you guys have to do after that? You got to extend his deal and sign him for one more year.
So what's the deal? Is he good on the training pitch or something? Is he good? Like, what is the thought? Or are just good backs are expensive and there's not that many floating around? Like, what's? I'm not sure.
Entertainment in the locker room as a real life Simpsons character.
Maybe. I can't. I mean, look, Arteta. We don't know as a manager. We need to see a season or two to see what he's going to put together. But I mean, coming out of Pep, like, I feel like his view of what players to keep around, I'm not really worried about. But I don't know about the David Luiz one. I don't know what that is.
He still has. He's 33, and as weird as it sounds, it's kind of a wind down for him. He's had a rough couple of years at Chelsea, being injured a lot. Arsenal, I can't remember if he's come off for injury or not at Arsenal.
I think so far he's been okay.
But the years haven't been kind to David Luiz. And most of the time when he's on, you're happy he's saving your ass. The problem is when he's off, he's really, really off.
That's true, man. Like, it is fire or ice. Like, it is nothing in between. I would take a wet, limp match, but instead it's like actively working against the club.
That's not where I thought that was going.
No, not at all.
Well,
but he did go to Chelsea and help galvanize a defense, and he did go to Arsenal and help you guys a bit with your defense. The problem is that you guys can't win in spite of yourselves.
This game was painful to watch, although not entirely. Well, here's the thing: Man City beating Arsenal. I was pretty prepped for that. It was just how bad David Luiz was, all the way up to getting his red card, and you're like, what are you doing? Next time, get that.
He messed up on the first goal, got a red on the second, which then put them down for City to get a third. Like, that's the hat trick of ups there. Like, that's just brilliant.
And it was some crazy stat. He's done that before.
Well, I'm not surprised. He probably leads the line in doing that before.
Well, it's okay. Man City did the same thing in their next game.
That's true. That's enough of.
Not quite as bad though. Like that was
fair enough, but enough. Player sent off on a red for denying a goal scoring opportunity.
This is hard.
Hey, you know what? You have him for a full another year, so we have plenty of talking points here on the Brewtiful Game.
When we talk about it, the more I can just taste that disgusting red snapper beer that I'm.
God, I love him so much. He has become my new favorite Premier League player.
Snapperhead, not red snapper. Good old butternut brewing.
Just because for finally I won't lose a bet and won't have to drink some disgusting ass beer. David Luiz is now my favorite player in the Premier League.
Should we get you an Arsenal jersey with David Luiz on it?
God, please. Nice and tight, skin tight, where it shows the nips just a bit.
Get an old Puma jersey that does
as far as I know, it comes with a free year's subscription to Palmade.
Yes, love it. Need some of that for my
I say a year
uncut
subscription
COVID hair.
to Red Card Weekly. The gift that keeps on giving the whole year.
Love it.
So now we've got the Spurs hosting Man United, and Man United squeak out a point.
Squeak out a point is I wouldn't call it, like, for a majority of the game, it was United on the attack, and they took possession. This was a very Mourinho-esque game on the other side of the ball. The goal that they got in the first half came out completely out of the run of play and off of a counter, and Bergwijn buried it, and he's been a great signing for them. He honestly has, and now with Kane in the lineup, I hope that those two can do a lot. But other than that, the first half was United shot, like just shooting. Hugo Lloris is back, so he was making some saves. And then in the second half, when Pogba came on, we saw our first glimpse of Pogba and Fernandes together, and boy, do I like what I see with both of them in there. With a defensive midfielder in Matic in there to allow Pogba and Fernandes to play, they shine. And had there been another 10 minutes in this game, United probably would have won. But Pogba drew the penalty to have a chance to tie it up, and Fernandes stepped up to the plate and buried that. And it was just a very Mourinho game, because once they scored that goal, they then, I don't say packed it in, but they then were very conservative in their play, which then allowed United just to get on to them. And the quality that United has and was able to bring off the bench at least got the draw out of it.
If Spurs want to be in Europe, they can't do that. They can't do that Mourinho conservative play anymore. They need to win.
Not in nowadays games, because you have too many teams that can counter so fast. Back in the day when he won a bunch with Chelsea, you didn't have wing backs that were bombing up and down the field and really pushing play. Nowadays you do. Even Sheffield plays that way, right? So he has to kind of adjust. And the thing is he has probably some of the most talent that he's had in all of his years. When you're talking Kane and Ali and Vertonghen and Alderweireld and Lloris, I mean, he has a lot of good players, and he really needs to find a way the rest of this season and into the offseason to adapt and kind of change his play a bit, because this is United. They're not City. They're not Liverpool. Yes, they're a good team and they have quality players, but when you go up against any of those other teams or Real Madrid or Barca, let's nick a goal or two on the counter and then sit in is not necessarily going to get the job done every week.
Yeah, I agree with you completely. I feel like the old adage, the best defense is a good offense. In a lot of,
who said that? Mel, the cook
Mel,
on
the
Alice.
cook on Alice.
Oh, good old boot to the head sketch.
I think you're 100% right in your kind of analysis of it. Get the goal and then pack it in. I thought that when Tottenham was poised for those types of counterattacks, especially one that they scored on, that did more to keep United on their heels than packing it in ever does. And I think you're right. Mourinho's got to reinvent his singular strategy and come up with something new and brilliant. You're the special one, not the I'm the old guy set in my ways one. I
got a question that occurred to me as we were just sitting there talking about this. So what will COVID breaking the season up, what did that change for managers? What I mean by that is, there had been discussion throughout the year at parts on did they bring in Ole Gunnar Solskjaer? There we go. In too soon to sign him? Should they have made him the manager? And I would argue that if they had squeezed into, let's just say, Europa, would they have been looking for a new manager for next year? But because of the COVID thing, no matter what happens to Man U, even if they were to drop out of European contention, which I don't really see that happening now, but let's just say, is Ole okay because it's so weird and the next season is around the corner? And you could apply this to other managers as well that we might have thought would be on the cusp. Does this buy a bunch of managers across the league a little time?
He's fine. He's absolutely fine. As soon as he brought in Fernandez, I think he was fine. That showed that him and Woodward, at least for the time being, can pull off a big name signing. And make no doubt about it, Fernandez has been a big name signing.
Yeah,
he absolutely adds creativity to that team. And you forget some of the other signings that he brought in, all young talent. Harry Maguire, who's now the captain for Manchester
here's the thing,
United.
Man, like
Bissaka.
What I would like to see, I'd like to see Ole be successful to fight the thing that happens in professional sports of we brought in a manager. Hey, we didn't win a championship in a year and a half. Get rid of him. Like, I would actually like to see him, as he's been able to do, build stuff and build a team. Because like right now, it's just such manager roulette. So don't mistake me there. Like, I just mean that there were a lot of fans that the Ole out was already happening. Granted, prior to some of those signings you just talked about, but like, I'm just curious as to what this means for other, for managers across the board that might have found themselves in trouble, and will they not now? Like,
I think it buys them a lifeline. I think they all get a little bit of a pass. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer decided he was going to take his lifeline and phone a friend, and he got Bruno Fernandes in there. And now, to be honest, not that I like it, but Manchester United probably have one of the best front three attacking threats in the entire league.
Young too.
And I think he did a smart thing. Anthony Martial, Marcus Rashford, and Fernandes, like, they're a force to be reckoned with. And I think maybe they're third or fourth in the league as an attacking side albeit from a paper standpoint. He was smart in how he used his time. And I think he's good for a bit. I don't think other managers are going to come out as sweet smelling, but I also think that the justice for them is going to come much more swift after all this COVID. Right. People are going to be like, if we didn't make any changes after COVID, we got to move on. So I think next season you're going to see a lot of managers get shaken off earlier in the season than you would normally see because of the COVID situation.
Yeah.
Right.
No, I wouldn't put Arsenal in that, because I think that no one thinks that if Unai Emery was still there, it would be any better. I mean, that is his team.
I don't know. I don't know. The off season for Arteta is going to be key.
Right. Except
is going to be key because
that's so weird now.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
but decisions like signing David Luiz for another year don't help his case at all. Right? You've lost and you've gotten beaten by Brighton. Yes, you got beat by City, and you almost lost to Sheffield United in the Cup. You've gone nothing but down since you've come back up. And then to add to that, you put more shit on the pile and signed the person that effed up the game for you in City. Now, mind you, Arsenal probably would have lost that game, but a key component of that who got sent off, gave up goals, and played horrifically, you then re-sign him for another year the following week. Who's at the helm?
Maybe he was cheaper.
Arteta. So I don't think – that's why I say his offseason needs to be huge, because he really needs to recoup from a very poor showing after coming up off of a 2-week or 2-month break.
Yeah. Agreed. There's not a whole lot going on for Arsenal that's on the positive front. I mean, I think you keep Aubameyang, Lacazette.
If he stays.
Yeah, that's true. But Lacazette has been more off than on. Pepe who? Guendouzi, Saka.
Pepe's actually been pretty good since they come back. I mean, that goal, that goal was freaking awesome.
Yeah, it was, but he's got no one to help him.
Blake, answer me this. Why does Rob Holding look like he's 40 years old and he's only 24? It's because he's been at Arsenal for the past 3 years.
Yeah, well, and he can't stop getting hurt.
When he came on the pitch today, I'm like, that has to be 45. And then the announcer said he's 24, and I was like, what the I figured since you got a new blue bleep sheet, I would just help, contribute to that.
Yeah, you can contribute to it. Well, technically, actually, I am on the very last page of the old one before I christened the new bleep sheet book. I still got faith. I think Arteta will put.
How did we get back to Arsenal? We were talking about Jose and Man United.
Because we were just talking about what would COVID mean for managers.
God almighty.
I didn't even do that.
Arsenal, isn't that the next match too?
That'd be Brighton Hove and Arsenal. So there you go. See, it was a segue, Ferris.
That's what we call it.
Arsenal
Brighton Hove 2.
Yeah, Brighton Hove 2, Arsenal 1. Brighton Hove, good for them. They needed that to stay out of that relegation area.
I like Ferris's headline. Arsenal defense get another F for failure. It should have been 2 Fs for failure to keep anyone from scoring. They just can't.
The back line is just whew. You have Saka Papadopoulos, who's 75 years old. David Luiz, who stepped out of a Simpsons episode. Rob Holding, who's like Benjamin Button and aged 75 years. And you have the Hulk back there where all he does is just bulldoze over people. You have Kieran
we do better when he is in the lineup, though.
Irish Scottish kid who as soon as he got to the club is hurt, which is no surprise. Everybody at Arsenal gets hurt. They have done for years. Who else is in the back line there? And then your goalie goes down in this game, and Arsenal looking they're in a world of trouble.
Yeah, the goalie, pretty much, I was like, well, the bet's done. As soon as Leto was, I was like, well, that's all there is to that. That's all there is to that.
So is anybody talking? I guess I'm going to have to start the rumors that Arsenal's cursed, because clearly no one else is doing it.
We're doing this like the Chicago Cubs.
It's the Highbury curse. As soon as they left Highbury and built this immaculate new Emirates stadium, it's all been downhill for them. Now, it was always going to go downhill with the Invincible team. You're not going to get quite, that team ever again. So, but the downhill slide has gone worse and worse.
They went from invincible to invisible.
They went from invincible to David Luiz.
Well, you've also got a very frustrating board that wants to maintain profit, but they are forgetting, or they act like they're forgetting, that getting to the Invincibles and winning is what got them on the global stage to make money. If they let themselves they're so afraid to spend cash. It's wild. I mean, the Aubameyang and Lacazette signings seemed huge for Arsenal, but they would have seemed normal for anybody else. The board, nobody likes Kroenke. They think he's just worried about they're not even the St. Louis Rams. Now they're the Los Angeles Rams, right? Now I can't even keep up. I think Arsenal's got a lot of issues when it comes to their board and ownership. And that comes up a lot. And a lot of people wish that Kroenke would just sell, because it's clearly when you're satisfied with just the top 4 for years, which is going to be wrong, that's a huge achievement. But like, to never truly compete for that top spot again, when you could have, you look at what other teams are doing for signings and stuff like that. There's the other thing, right? What's Arteta allowed to do? What's any manager allowed to do post Emery or post Wenger? Like, how much are they letting him try to go after and spend things? I think
Yeah, but unfortunately, the manager is the easy scapegoat and the most popular scapegoat. So if you hamstring Guardiola and you put him over there, they're going to have the same result.
Exactly.
It's not going to be that great.
Yeah. You get what
You're
you get.
just running coaches off at that point.
And then it's harder and harder to get people to sign, especially if you end this year without competing in Europe at all. What a mess.
Which is looking pretty likely.
Yeah. The only thing you can aim for is try to end above Tottenham. That's the only thing that Arsenal could aim for. And of course, being Arsenal, if somehow Tottenham ended up in 10th place and Arsenal still managed to stay at 9th, they would act like they won the league. Which, by the way, you guys, I don't know if you've been watching Arsenal fan TV in the era of COVID.
No.
It's like watching a weird, we'll get a little theater nerd on you, Brechtian or like Penter play. It's a footage. It's filming them in a room. They're all in chairs, 5 to 6 feet apart, watching the Brighton Hove game. Look that up online. It's hysterical. It's like, I think someone, I can't remember the Men in Blaze who said this, but they're like, it's like watching Waiting for Godot about football. It is amazing.
That's great.
And it's you, if you watch it and you go, if you tried to replicate this in a film or TV show, people wouldn't believe this. It's so good. It's actually quite good. So there you go. Arsenal bringing you quality content.
A gift that keeps on giving
right now.
All year
it sure
long.
Does. The gift that is going to walk away from us if they don't turn it around. Now we got Bournemouth hosting Crystal Palace, and Crystal Palace whoops them up 2-0.
And are 1 point behind the beloved Arsenal, because they have actually come back and look like somewhat of a team, the Palace have.
Crystal Palace look good.
As is Burnley, just a little heads up.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Bournemouth not looking good. They are now in the relegation.
No, they are not.
Spot.
No, they are not. It'd be very sad to see them go down. And they were hit with a bit of news. I don't know if it was before this game or after this game, but one of their key players, Frazier, I can't remember his first name now, but the really fast and pacey left mid has basically said, I'm going to move on and not sign a new deal, but also I'm not going to play for the Cherries again this year.
Nope, he's coming to Arsenal. He's a promising midfielder
where he will be
that's going to come to Arsenal
45 years old in the matter of 2 years and be injured 30% of the time.
Go to Arsenal, they said, where young talent goes to ride off quietly into the sunset.
Yeah.
Which is only just to the other side of come play for any team Jose Mourinho is coaching, they said, and be young and not get played.
Similarly, yeah.
You don't get injured, you just don't play at the club.
Yeah. But Palace, a very good win here, a couple of early goals. They were able to hang on, and it also, I think, with stadium or with teams like Bournemouth and Sheffield, how big of a hit is it to not have fans in this stadium? I mean, going down to the South Coast and having that stadium packed in a very tight capacity was almost like having a 12th man on the field for Bournemouth. And this is one where at home against Palace, 2 early goals. There's a lot of time left.
That's a good point. That's actually almost a bigger deal.
Could they have come back and drawn or something?
No, it does. That feels like it's a bigger deal for, now that you say that, for the smaller clubs almost than some of the bigger clubs.
Yeah, especially at their home ground.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Where they're hosting some titan of English soccer, and it's crickets in the stadium.
Win one for the Gipper kind of vibe is gone. That's a really good point. But
yeah, there's very little thing. I think the end of this season, pretty much, there's nothing called home field advantage anymore.
No,
not right now. There's not. No.
And if I feel like Bournemouth does not necessarily have a good lineup ahead of them. I will try to pull it up real quick. We need to update your table, Ferris, that we're using is actually just so we remember, it's not quite up to date.
No,
because the Wolves are in 5th right now.
That is correct. Wolves are in 5th on 52 points.
So Bournemouth plays Newcastle.
Because they just played yesterday. That's right.
So here you go, guys. Here's your road to not being relegated if you're Bournemouth. Newcastle, Man United, Tottenham, Leicester, Man City.
We'll see ya.
Oh,
this was your chance to actually try and hold on to something. So really, in this lineup, it's almost you need to be Jose Mourinho, park the bus, and try to get 5 points out of.
But when has Bournemouth ever done that?
They haven't. I know. That's not how they play.
Yeah.
But they just need the points. And oddly enough, 5 draws, how close it is on the bottom, maybe could save you. But that's not a good run up.
I guess also, what is West Ham and Watford's schedule coming up? Because if they only get 2 or 3 points, if they get 2 or 3 points out of draws in the next 5 matches.
Well, here you go. West Ham
is probably a little.
Chelsea, then Newcastle, then Burnley, then Norwich, then Watford.
Oh, is that West Ham?
Terrible run.
That's West Ham. Yep. And then Watford's is, I think, really friendly. Southampton, Chelsea, Norwich, Newcastle, then West Ham for the final. Both of those schedules feel like those teams they feel like they could get 3 to 5 points. You know what I'm saying, which is maybe all you need. Yeah, unless Bournemouth can just really pull off a miracle.
Yeah,
I don't even know that they can make it to the last week without being relegated.
Yeah, it's going to be tough.
Well, I mean, the same could be said for Aston Villa. Aston Villa and Bournemouth are on 27 points,
very good point,
tied with West Ham. The only difference is Bournemouth has got 3 less goals than West Ham does. And so 5 goals separate 17th and 19th because they're all on 27 points. The only difference is their goal differential. 5 goals. Every goal counts and every point counts.
Man,
if Bournemouth is going to stay up. I don't think it's all that likely, but we'll see.
No, I don't either.
I certainly hope they do, though. I mean, we were so excited when they were in the league and they came in with a blaze, and it'd be sad that after a few years they go down and things are going sideways. And what happens to that club? We had talked about them when they came up. When they did that, they almost went out of the leagues entirely. So
and it was, can they even keep
hopefully
Eddie
they can
Howe?
bound back up.
Is some big club going to snatch him up as a manager?
Not even a big club, right? Not even a big club. Can
Everton would do well.
Right.
Could a Palace? I mean, Roy's up there in age, and if he wants to retire, could he come in? And wouldn't that be a good signing for Palace to get a Howe?
Yeah.
So, could they even hang on to him? And could they hang on to people like Callum Wilson and some of the others that they got there? The names are kind of eluding me at the time, but Aki and,
Adam Smith, Jack Stacey, Josh King.
Yep.
Lewis Cook, David Brooks.
Exactly. There you go. So
I think if they get relegated, he's going to split.
I don't know if it'll be right away, but I don't know if he'll split because he wants to, or that a deal comes in that he can't refuse that returns him back to the
think
Premier
it'll
League.
depend, kind of, we were saying about the manager situation in the Premier League in general, like how COVID, how the break it messes with that. I think that'll all vary on that as to what's available.
I just think that he's too good a coach to stay in the to a relegated team. There's too many other teams that could use his experience. I mean, we always talk about Eddie Howe going to other teams when the whole shaky time of the year about managers getting sacked, and he's always at the top of our list for him to go somewhere. It's going to happen. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when.
Time will tell.
Well, that moves us to Aston Villa at home against Chelsea, otherwise known as the return of the red, white, and blue and the lumbersexual from France. It's
pretty much
Pulisic and Olivier
still red,
Giroud.
white, and blue, by the way. Yeah,
exactly. They score.
Down with the Villa.
They score, and man, Christian Pulisic looking really good on the coming out of the break.
Man,
nice to see Giroud score.
The fact that he had so much time to get over that injury, he has come out on fire.
He's still got a lot to prove, so he's motivated, man.
Matt Call, I mean, come on. I was rooting for your boys. You guys were looking good in the first half, and all you needed was hang on. And even John Terry sitting over there on the bench and looking at his old team decimate them in the second half was just, ugh.
Yeah, it was definitely a tale of two halves. Chelsea were kind of listless and lacked a bit of pep and spontaneity in the first half. In the second half, it was a completely different team. Villa couldn't string two passes together without Chelsea harassing them, turning over the ball. It was awesome. Good time, Chelsea.
Yeah, Chelsea looked good. And Chelsea has come back out of this break looking good.
Pulisic has come out of the break looking fantastic. Yeah, he's looked great.
Mount, Alonso, Willian, Pedro, and N'Golo Kante playing in the midfield where he actually plays.
What is
I don't know what to do with that.
What is this I hear, though, that he may be gone in the offseason, that Chelsea may look to offload him? How? I don't know if that's a smart move by them.
Yeah, well, to be honest, let's see, when was it? After we won the league with Antonio Conte, with N'Golo Kante in the midfield, we have not treated N'Golo Kante very well. We've taken him out in the place of Jorginho. We've played him out of position more than we've played him in position. So I don't blame him for wanting to split. And if he's not going to fit into, look, let me just say, it's a complete mistake to get rid of him. He is still one of the best midfielders in the entire game. If you're going to get rid of somebody, get rid of Jorginho. And N'Golo Kante is service proven.
Keep them both.
Yeah, but don't just stop playing him out of position.
Just to a little deep breaking news that isn't breaking by the time you listen to this podcast, but for us it is. It's 10:45 in the morning now. We got Watford and Southampton game coming up. Mm-hmm. Watford is omitting 3 players from the squad to ensure health and safety of today's game. So it sounds like they may have not necessarily tested positive, but maybe showing symptoms or something. Or so, not sure which 3 players, but that's not good for Watford, as we were just talking about their run up.
No, it is not
against Southampton. That's today at 11.
Or it could be like the poor ladies of the Orlando Pride who all took a bunch of tests. Came back positive, and then only to come back negative 2 days later. Oh, that's a heartbreaker.
Yeah. Well, but there were also, like, the problem, too, was people that worked at the team and everything. It was such a not worth the risk.
It's fair.
Thing, but
it sucks.
No
question.
So the last of the match week 30 is Newcastle at Sheffield United. Newcastle, huge win against Sheffield.
I would just like to let you know that you all glossed over the Chelsea win. But that's okay.
We didn't gloss over. We complimented them well.
Did.
No, you guys were great.
We spent 40 minutes talking about Manchester United and Arsenal.
You guys
and then
beat a team in 19th.
By the way, Chelsea win.
Yeah,
you guys beat a team in 19th and barely, I don't want to say barely beat them, but had to take the second half to beat them. So yeah, we kind of did gloss over. We'll hit on them a little bit more as we move on to the rest of the matches.
Just keeping it fair.
Hey, look, I didn't try to talk about Arsenal again. Ferris brought that back into the conversation.
It's just so damn easy. It's,
that was not me for a change.
There's a little bit of like early gloating that I may not be drinking piss beer. So who knows?
That's why he's so excited.
From the best brewery in Garrettsville, New York.
Oh. If you say
so.
Can
we just open another brewery there so we can take that title?
No, I don't even want to be even anywhere near
those
right?
Assholes. Yeah, I don't want to be. Yeah.
You'd be guilty by association.
Just a beer in your basement. It's better.
Your beer be haunted of like bad hops and terrible yeast or something. I don't know.
The yeast beast.
Get yeast where you weren't planning on it.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the worst kind of yeast.
So Newcastle completely dismantles Sheffield United 3-0.
Big win for them.
Huge win. I mean, that really helps to get them closer to that magical 40-point mark, and they're only 1 point away from that, and a huge win.
And you actually point out, no fans in the stadium. This is another club that really reacts well to their home field advantage. So to have no fans there and to play as well as they did, it's good. Newcastle's fine. They're fine this year.
Well, and I think the big thing for them going into the offseason is, will they be bought and under new ownership? Yes. That's something that they all have been looking for a very long time. And they have some suitors out there, but now with the economic world that we're in because of the pandemic, will anything actually go through? But, besides that fact, Geordies and Newcastle fans will just be more than thrilled that they're staying in the league.
Yeah, they've been in and out.
Agreed.
Yeah, so many times. Nope, they're fine. I think they'll be just fine. I mean, part of my gut almost feels that the way you're looking at this bottom 11 wouldn't shock me if it stayed that way the rest of the run out.
It possibly could be. I mean, today's match with Watford and Southampton, that's a big match here. Big match, mainly for Watford, but
just to stay safe. Yeah. If they could pull out the win. But again, now that we know they're I don't know what players, but omitting the 3 players. So
yeah, they really need a win to buffer themselves against West Ham in 17th, Bournemouth in 18th, and Aston Villa in 19th. They're only 1 point out. And if those teams do well and they have a bad game, Watford could be in the relegation.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, this isn't good, man. If you want to know why?
If they're going to drop a few players due to COVID concerns and they lose this game, it's not going to take a lot for a team like West Ham to bump them or Aston Villa to bump them. And then they're going to be sitting in the relegation.
Well, you want to hear how this is a dumb thing, this today thing. So with the players, the ones that have been left off are Andrew Gray, Nathaniel Kaloba, and Daniel Kina. They attended a 20-person party at one of their houses they hosted, and people found out about it. That's why they're not letting them play.
Oh. So it's not that they tested positive. It's
that they had
a cautionary type.
They had the big party at their house,
right.
Which where a lot of the times you've been hearing these things of like, one family got together for a birthday and 20 of them now have, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
But that's so stupid. These games are, man, if they lose today and end up getting relegated down the line, that's.
Yeah. So that's the next question. I will always venture on the do what's right side of life. And if these guys were all partying and they the team is at all worried that they're going to get anybody else infected, they made the right decision.
Well, sure,
right? Because what are the optics of, hey, we stayed up, but we gave half our team COVID because these 3 guys had a party.
And we gave it to referees or players on other teams. And you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Yeah. We caused the league to shut down again. Yeah, you don't want that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's super stupid. Sorry to derail the Newcastle Sheffield. When I saw that, I was like,
you're good.
That's so stupid.
But that's pretty much the headline.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Sheffield United continues to be out of the break in a very meh kind of play, and Newcastle take full advantage of it.
Yep, and they need to get used to that score line, because we're gonna talk about that for match week 31. Match week 31, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 matches we're looking at with a total.
Well, yeah,
of
we're
3.
just going to look at these 5.
Sure, but with these 5, we're looking at a total.
And by match week, you mean like a couple days later.
Right. Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's what makes the fantasy hard. But we're only looking at these 5 matches, but despite that fact, there are 3, 7, 10, 12, 17 goals in these 5 matches.
Yes.
Good
so
Lord.
they started to find their feet again, and
The first one being Man City hosting Burnley at home, and they win 5-0.
Foden has been on fire since he's came back.
He's played great.
Yeah, you know what this
3
means?
goals in 2 games.
Watch out for Man City next year, guys. I'm telling you, if they're picking up so hot right here at the end, and we don't really have that much of a gap, oof, it could be the Liverpool Man City show all over again. Ferris loves that.
No, it's my favorite thing in all of football. Let me tell you.
Is it?
Yeah, no, absolutely 100% not.
Yeah, this match was they like you said, Foden's just been on fire. Ron just texted us. I got you.
Yeah.
I love it. Have to pee.
God bless.
I mean, unfortunately, the big headline from this was the White Lives Matter.
That was kind of, I mean, we should be kind of going over match week 31 fairly quick, as there wasn't a whole lot of headlines until we get to the end, but this was definitely a headline that was for all of the wrong reasons, and one that was condemned by both clubs, and they're, I don't know if there's any update, but they're actively trying to figure out who hired the plane or who hired the banner or any of that nonsense. But there are still people out in this world that are
they suck,
racist, man. They suck, and just
in this game,
some not so good people.
I mean, what a ridiculously dominant performance from Man City. Man City looks really good coming back from this break.
They absolutely did up until the next game that they played, and But
you know what? That is a game against a team that's also looking good coming out of the break. So
yeah, and it's Burnley, but it's away from Burnley, and not that would have made a
sorry. No, I meant the one after the match after they have. Yeah,
true. But this is kind of what you expect from a Man City squad playing a Burnley. This is what City fans hoped for, because this is what they needed to even have some sort of a charge to catch up to Liverpool. And after this game, it was looking okay. But
Man City, though,
that's not actually what happened, as we will.
I just got a feeling they're going to be so disgusting next year. So moving on, I guess, then to the Spurs hosting West Ham. West Ham does not help themselves as they score an on goal against themselves very early. And then Harry Kane gets one in the 82nd, so the Tottenham beats
back
West
on
Ham.
The score sheet, back from injury, yeah. Back on the score sheet,
so
back
when does next
from
season
injury.
start for the Premier League? Have they said yet?
September, I thought.
Well, see, there you go. Kane is going to start scoring immediately. He never scores in
true.
August.
He's not going to play August. Yeah,
that's the Spurs are going to be amazing to kick off the season next year.
Valid point.
Yeah, and then they'll just be in the around Christmas.
Wait, Wait, is that our World Cup year? Is this our World Cup year?
We are, yes. Yes, we are going into World. It's the one that's in like January.
But that's what Ron said Christmas.
Qatar.
And I thought, actually, this is the weird year because there will kind of be a weird holiday, the weird break in wintertime.
Pretty much this Premier League season is going to be battle of the third string because everyone else is going to be off fighting in the World Cup for their respective nations.
Yeah.
And Pulisic will still be at Chelsea because the U.S. won't get in.
Oh
my God! If we don't get in again, that's such a catastrophe.
That hurts. So wait, is that so? That's 20. No, so did I do it wrong?
2021 is when the World Cup should be, right?
No, was it 2022? Ron, look it up. Have I done this wrong?
I am. Don't worry, I'm on it.
Is it
Pretty
not?
Sure it's 2021.
Is it not this holiday season, but the following holiday season? Is it because it's
I don't know.
2022 Qatar.
Yeah. Oh, we got one more. We got one more.
Samsonite, way off.
But here's the thing, guys.
It seemed a little too close for us to be trying to get into the World Cup now.
I mean, who the hell knows? I don't even know that it's June right now.
That's what I was gonna say, dude. I don't know. Is it 2022? Is it 1985? I'm not even sure anymore.
This is a valid point.
It's time has no meaning.
I took a time machine. You made a time machine out of a DeLorean?
Oh, boy.
Great Scott.
Could use one of those right now. Just go back to the beginning of the year and say, go do whatever you want to go do right now.
Right.
But yeah, that's Tottenham West Ham. West Ham is struggling. And the Spurs looking, I don't want to say, they weren't really dominant in that match. They just kind of held their own against a lesser team, basically.
Yep, it's a very Mourinho-esque win, that's for certain.
But now, Ron, maybe we should have both go pee now because Ferris has got to talk about a hat trick at Man United.
Oh no! Well, we'll kind of gloss over this. They were playing against a Sheffield team that, as we talked about, has not come back from the break very good.
Let's be fair. This is the first hat trick at Man United since when?
For 70 years ago, it seems like.
Since Sir Alex Ferguson.
Yeah, it's been first hat trick at home.
It's first hat trick at home
because I'm pretty sure that RVP scored a couple of hat tricks away from home when he played for us. But it was still it was a solid win, a good win. That Anthony Martial, Mason Greenwood, and Tony Marcus Rashford combo there, especially the Rashford and Martial combo. Rashford assisted a few of these goals, and he could have and should have probably had another 2 or 3 goals. Both of them should have had a hat trick. They were feeding off each other so well. That Pogba and Fernandez in the midfield looking great. Backline looks solid. Yes, they weren't tested too much, and they weren't, as much as at Tottenham, tested that backline and that midfield, but they did what they needed to do. They got to the 8 points, and it's closer towards ending in the top 4 or top 5 because we end in the top 5 and City doesn't get their ban overturned. That gets you into the Champions League. So just for Manchester United, just keep churning out these wins. Win when you're supposed to. That's something that we haven't done in the past before. They won when they were supposed to. So take it, move on. We just squeaked out a win in the FA Cup yesterday against Norwich. So we're in that tournament, and the Europa League is due to come back in like August, I think. So just keep those going. And right now it's positive. Just keep making positive steps forward. Don't come to like don't take 2 steps back by getting a bad loss to Villa or something, So a good win for Manchester United and a fine hat trick by Tony Martial.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much
really, that's all you can say.
That's all you got.
Yeah, that's all you can say.
Well, there's not much to say about this next match other than Liverpool versus Crystal Palace. Liverpool, man, they looked amazing in this game. And what a game to be their final one before they get declared to be champions. Like, they win 4-0 over Crystal Palace. They look great.
Walloped them.
With
And
all the usual suspects scoring, which is one of the things that have been so great about Liverpool, is that they're not reliant on one or two people to score for the team. You know, a lot of the teams, you're constantly thinking, well, if they get rid of this guy, where are the goals coming from? That's not a problem for Arsenal or for Liverpool.
Yeah,
you know,
from their back line all the way up front.
Yep. Mane scores in this. Fabinho scores in this. Salah, Alexander-Arnold. It's the cast of usual players just putting it in the back of the net.
Yeah, and they just looked great. They looked so dominant. It kind of felt like, you know, it really depended on the next match the following day between Chelsea and Man City. Man City had to win. I think even a draw would have declared Liverpool the champions at that point.
Yeah, they had to win, or
they only needed
Liverpool
two more points. Yeah.
But I mean, I guess that's a good segue. Chelsea hands the keys to the kingdom to Liverpool by beating a Man City who has been on fire. Chelsea beats them 2-1. Christian P. rolling back in.
Yeah, Christian Pulisic, man. That kid's got some wheels on that counterattack.
Oh, man. Who did he burn for
everybody?
City, God almighty. Was it Mendy that he burned?
Let me
for
check.
City. He was number 22. I think it's they think that was him, but he absolutely just turned on the jets and burned right by him.
And with a really cleverly placed, he kept the ball in close and let the defender get in close, and then he pushed it way out and just completely outran him.
Very composed goal too. Yeah.
Yeah. Knew what he was doing. That keeper came out and he just slotted it home. That was such a nice play.
This was, oddly enough, kind of a bit of an odd game, actually, because there were some chances early that City could have put the ball in the back of the net and taken somewhat of
a few times.
Yeah, the post a couple times. But then in the second half, there was a lot of City having to clear the ball off the line. Like they did that a whole lot. And one of them even led to a red card by Fernandinho, which then had Willian step up and bury the penalty. It was just a kind of an odd game all around, but a very good win for Chelsea, who is really trying to keep the spots there in the top 4 and 5 as United and Wolves are right on their heels.
Yeah, it's nice to see. I'm happy to see Pulisic coming out with such, such fervor and such energy into that match. Well, coming out of COVID, really. 2 goals in 2 games has made a ton of impact, and I can't wait to see what he would do in the future. I'm assuming that Chelsea's going to keep him around. There's no reason they shouldn't.
Yeah. I find it very hard to imagine next year a top 4 that doesn't end being some version. I'm not doing this in any order, but some version of Chelsea, Man United, Man City, and Liverpool. I think it's going to be really hard for any of the other outside teams to crack into those 4 clubs if Chelsea can hold on to folks going into the following season, because they look really good right now. And good for Frank Lampard. I'm obviously not a Chelsea fan, but I do like Frank. What a good dude.
We haven't even mentioned who they recently signed.
Dun, 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 dun.
Timo Werner from RB Leipzig, the goal-scoring machine.
And
I think he's going to do very well there. That's a great signing.
Everybody wanted him too, man. Everybody was headhunting that guy. It was a huge signing for them.
Yeah. Ferris, the answer to your question, he burned both Laporte and Mendy.
Mendy was the one that he turned on the jets right around, though. Yeah. I mean, burning Laporte is no big thing because Laporte's not exactly God's gift to speed. But Mendy has some wheels, and he was caught a little bit off foot, but Pulisic just turned it on and was gone. Just burnt him like people will sometimes burn me on Sunday League. Like it was bad.
Yeah, I think Mendy is quick, but I think what's best about him is his usual vision and placing himself in the position to be a better defense than he uses his brain more than his speed. I guess that's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
He positions himself way better normally. In this one, he just got completely taken off guard and then just got
the speed
crispy toasted.
Taken to the cleaner.
The quote unquote speed he has is his smarts. That's like where his speed.
So great.
And
it was awesome.
And there was and the reason Ferris the table's a little off is the Wolves had one. They actually played 32 games now.
Correct. They just played yesterday and beat. Who did they beat yesterday?
Which is why they are up to
Villa, maybe
5th. Yes, that sounds right.
Question mark? Yeah.
Who are we talking about?
The Wolves. The fact that they're in 5th right now, it's because
didn't they just beat Bournemouth?
They played
Bournemouth may have been it. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, they played 32 matches. Everybody else is at 31.
Yeah.
No, it was Villa. June
27th. What was Villa? Because there's only 2 Premier League matches this week. Everything else is FA Cup from my understanding, right?
Yeah, Chelsea just started. They just kicked off against Leicester City.
Oh, in the Cup?
Yeah.
Is that on...
on ESPN here.
Oh, is it? Cool. I'll turn to that.
It's on CCTV 5 here.
Oh. Interesting.
Does that bring us to our La Liga's roundup as we've got another championship to talk about?
Okay, so I cannot believe that I'm going to be the one to speak good things of Liverpool winning the title. I know it was kind of a foregone conclusion that would occur.
I love that we made Ferris do this.
I hate you both. But it was a foregone conclusion, but Liverpool do win their first Premier League title. They have not won a Premier League title. They've only won top flight, so before the Premier League was called the Premier League is when they won. They have not won it since. It's been 30 years. They have been clearly the best team all year. It's deserved. Congrats. And I'm very glad that Stevie G never won a Premier League title while I was there.
Can we talk about the fact that they both won the league, breaking records faster than anyone at their, how many points? At their 86 current points.
6.
However, they are also the team to win the league the latest by winning it in late June. They did it faster than anybody in terms of matches played, but way past when anybody has ever won because of the delay.
Right.
I see what you did there.
That's probably...
and Chelsea helps crown another one.
Well, and that's definitely a stat that probably stick for a bit. Because, I mean, look, they win this thing 23 points above Man City. 86 points right now. Man City has 63. Man City almost crested 100 last year. Was the best team ever and won. And then this year, what could Liverpool end at? Can they break the 100 mark?
I believe if they win out, they
Oh, yes, because it should be 5 games left, right? So if they win out, they'd have 101 points.
No, they have more than that.
It's match week 31.
Yeah,
that's
so they
38
games.
So yeah. Oh, they might. They're going to. I bet they do. Unless they just lay off the gas. I bet they do it.
Could have a little bit of a champion party hangover. Who knows?
Well, people in Anfield certainly did.
There's also something smart to be said for we won the league. Let's not trash anybody because we have other competitions to play in and we want you all healthy.
Yeah. Yeah, because I think the Champions League resumes in April. Right?
Hey, I'll tell you what. Right now, I would love to see.
I'm sorry, not April. August.
The way that the Champions League's set up, I don't think they can end in a final. Right? It might have to be a quarter semi, but I would love to see this Bayern Munich team go against Liverpool in the Champions League. Because that'd be two really good clubs.
That would be, yeah. That would be. That'd be a fun matchup to see.
No, Liverpool is amazing. They've been fun to watch all year long, and watching Klopp afterwards get all emotional, and they clearly love him so much. It was awesome. Did you watch every second of that, Ferris?
No. Not even.
He watched
the slightest.
He watched 1 second of it.
Oh, man, you got to see Klopp, man. It's adorable.
I happened to see a bit of it this morning as we're sitting here potting, because when I switched over to Premier League mornings, they were still going on about that, but I have since switched over to the Leicester City and Chelsea FA Cup match. So.
I'm so glad we're still on FaceTime doing this so I can see Ferris's disgusted face.
Damn it.
Well, speaking of things that make Ferris happy, there was another champion crowned in Germany.
Well,
Bayern Munich ends up winning the title on a 1-0 win over Werder Bremen on the 16th. And then
Blake, he said, "Oh, is this when Bayern can win the league?" I said, "No, they won it like a week or two back."
Yeah. And then a 2-0 win over Borussia Dortmund on the following day, which handed them the title. This is Bayern's 8th title in a row and 30th overall. Just let that sink in for a second.
That's fun.
That's insane.
That's no fun. Like, it's not, because when Dortmund was the last team to win it, they won it back-to-back years, and then Bayern bought half of their team. Like, that's a monopoly. That's like the spectrum of the Bundesliga.
I was going to go with the Yankees of the Bundesliga.
That's where I was going.
But not even then, because the Yankees haven't been a formidable club in years.
Back when the last time they were, though, was pretty much.
I know what you're saying, but it's not fun when Lewandowski, who's won the scoring title again, was scoring all these for Dortmund, and Bayern has come in and be like, "Hey, here's a handful of cash, and you want to come over here," and then that's when Dortmund gets obliterated. Klopp loses everybody and moves over to the Premier League, and now Bayern are.
So then, if Klopp in the Champions League with Liverpool goes to take on Bayern, who are you pulling for?
Bayern.
I really thought you were good.
No, I can't do it. That was without hesitation, by the way.
That was amazing. Yeah, because Bayern needs to add one more star to this here kit.
Yeah. But the fight for the remaining 3 Champions League spots in the Bundesliga.
This was a big deal.
Went down to the second to last match week, where Borussia Dortmund came up with a big win as they bounced back and beat RB Leipzig, who was right behind them in third. They beat them 2-0.
And they are lucky they came back.
Yeah.
Because their follow-up match was not good.
Right. And I think that was more of like, hey, we're in second. We're not going anywhere, and we're still going to make Champions League. And then also, who ended up in fourth, one of my favorite names to say, Borussia Mönchengladbach.
We get to hear you say it some more.
In the Champions League, as they finished in fourth on 65 points, 1 point behind RB Leipzig. So there are your 4 contenders for next year's Champions League from the Bundesliga, as they are the first league to end that hasn't been like canceled, right? Because Liga and the Eredivisie both called off their seasons.
Right.
Over in the Spanish Premier Division, Real Madrid sit atop of the Spanish Premier Division 2 weeks after the return of the league. Madrid currently sit on 68 points, with Barcelona sitting on the same amount in second, only with a -1 goal difference. It's been quite entertaining since the league's been back up to kind of see those teams going at it, and some controversial stuff happening there as well, between some goals scored and stuff. But Madrid currently are sitting on top. The 2 Spanish giants look to duke it out, as there are 7 matches remaining in the league table, and it's a little bit of a ways down, as Atletico Madrid sit in third on 55 points, while Sevilla remain closely behind them and 1 point back. So it's pretty much going to be those two just going tit for tat. And honestly, I think Madrid could pull it out as their run looks a little bit better than Barca's, and these two teams do not play each other again. So it's really going to depend on each of the teams' form and pulling out victories.
Yeah, and there's 7 matches left. There's a lot of soccer to be played yet.
I can't believe it's between Real Madrid and Barcelona again. Who would have thought?
Right? Jeez, who would have thought?
That never happens. Where's Atalanta?
Yeah. Well, they're over in the Italian division.
Yeah, if they were there, Real Madrid wouldn't stand a chance.
And Real Madrid played today at 4:00 against Espanyol. So the other results that are happening currently, Levante's up 4-2 against Real Betis, and Villarreal's up 1-0 against Valencia. And then finally, moving over to the Serie A, the Italian Serie A returned to action this past week with Juventus defeating Bologna 2-0 on Monday, and then Lecce yesterday 4-0 following a Fabio Luciano red card in the 31st minute. These wins keep the Italian Giants atop of the Italian table on 69 points, 7 ahead of Lazio in second. Lazio do have a game in hand, but we'll have to hope that the old ladies slip up as they look to keep their eyes forward on the Scudetto, but they also have to keep their eye on their back as Inter Milan are sitting on 58 points. So Lazio and Inter Milan are right behind the Italian Giants, and between Lazio and Milan, they're kind of duking it out there to see who could possibly reach them. But also behind them is the high-flying Atalanta, which Ron was saying, who are moving quickly up the table, and they're on 54 points, but they have come back and really, really looked like they have not missed a beat, and if not improved while they were off, as they happened to beat Lazio 3-2 a few days back. So that certainly helps their case on gaining more ground. But with 10 to 11 games for each team left to play, the Italian league looks like it's going to be the best league going down the wire to figure out who is going to not only win the league, but also remain in those Champions League places.
I would like to.
Yeah, I think.
Oh, go ahead, Ron.
I can't wait to watch this one come down. I mean, we have we have like 10-ish weeks left. This one's going to be a fun one to watch, as Ferris is saying.
And you've got coverage in China for that?
Yeah. Now
awesome.
That the Bundesliga is over, everything is the Spanish league and the Italian leagues.
That's awesome.
And the Premier League still.
Yeah. I mean, I just mean that the coverage for the Italian leagues and the Spanish league is a bit more than the Premier League.
Yes, sir.
Or at least this year it is. Last year was totally different. But
I just like the word Scudetto.
Isn't that a fun word?
It is.
I believe that the actual meaning of Scudetto is it's an Italian badge.
You don't need no stinking badges.
No. It's called Little Shield.
The little shield. So it's like a badge. All right, I got you.
Yep, is a decoration worn by Italian sports clubs that won the annual championship of their respective sport in the previous season. So there you go. A little bit of Italian knowledge there for you.
Yep.
So the other thing I think quick talk about is we mentioned earlier was NWSL has started their cup. Or their not cup, but
Challenge Cup. Yeah,
Challenge Cup.
It's called the Challenge Cup. Yeah, in Utah.
And I don't know if you saw last night. Rose Lavelle looked awesome.
Whew.
What a follow-up! Nice goal.
Rose Lavelle and Ashley Hatch. I was able to join and was asked to join a virtual tailgate party for the Black Swans, a supporter group of the Pride. Unfortunately, the Pride had to pull out due to some COVID reasons, but they still carried on and wanted to do it. And one of the members of the Black Swans, Caitlin, who we've had before on the pod, asked if I could be if I can join her to kind of break down the tournament and kind of go over all the teams there. And it was so funny as we were talking about the Spirit and Stars. We were talking about them as the lineups came out. And one of the things that we were talking about was how that combination between Lavelle and Hatch can be so deadly, because Hatch isn't a name that everybody knows, but she's been around the league for 4 or 5 years, and anywhere in the box, she is clinical. She can bury the ball. And those were those 2 goals yesterday, was Lavelle following up on a goal that Ashley Hatch should have scored, but it was a good save by Nair, and then Nair with a bit of a gaff, and Ashley Hatch just pressuring her and taking the ball away and scoring that second, and they were able to hang on and beat the Red Stars, who, if you remember last year, beat Portland Thorns to play for and eventually lose the NWSL Championship.
Yeah.
And earlier, the North Carolina Courage, Sam Mewis, had an awesome assist to get the goal in there toward the end of the game. So they walked away with a victory for their first match as well.
Not the best game from her, but she came in big at the end of the game and played a very nice crossing. Yeah, when
they needed her, she was there.
Exactly.
So yeah, like I said, all the games being played in Utah right now, coverage is on CBS as well as CBS's All Access.
Yeah, which is great. It's good that it's great that there are some big name sponsors now that are part of the official NWSL sponsorship program. Verizon, Secret, Twitch, Procter & Gamble, Nike, Google. They just signed Google yesterday or the day before. So Google's now an official sponsor. Budweiser's an official sponsor. Go figure. But it's so nice to see that the ladies' matches are, on a regular network, and they've got some great sponsorship behind them.
Yeah, unfortunately, only yesterday's Portland and Courage game was on Big CBS. The only other game that's on Big CBS is the championship, which will take place at Rio Tinto Stadium sometime in July, I think.
But the coverage I thought was pretty good. I would like to have seen one more camera out there on the pitch, but
yeah, that would have been nice. But it's nice that they are the first team sport to return here in the States. So it's very cool that they're aiding the line, and also some very powerful stuff as the Black Lives Matter movement continues. And there's a picture that was shared between Casey Short and Julie Ertz as they all took a knee pre-match, and it's nice to see not only the Premier League, we forgot to mention that, every Premier League club took a knee at the start of their match, because they don't
across the back,
because they don't have an anthem that they do over overseas. We do here, but some very powerful stuff as the NWSL becomes the first team sport to return here in the United States.
Yeah. How awesome is that?
Pretty freaking awesome.
Yeah, all of the games are going to be on Twitch all the way till the final.
Twitch for you guys. CBS All Access for us. Yes, for the international viewership.
That's cool, though. I didn't know Twitch had jumped on that. That's cool.
Yeah, and I think July 1st has one of the games you really want to look at, which is the Washington Spirit over the playing the Carolina Courage. That's going to be a fun one to watch. Also, line yourself up for the doubleheader on that day, because Portland Thorns and the Chicago Red Stars.
Did Ron just freeze?
Nope, we got him.
Oh, okay. No, I think he gone for me.
Oh, well then.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I still got Ron. He called him loud and clear.
I'm here.
I do not.
Anyway, July 1st, Portland Thorns, Chicago Red Stars. That's going to be a particularly great day of ladies soccer. Wednesday, July 1st.
Oh, yeah. It's so nice to have footy back on. Ferris, can you hear everybody again now?
No, I can just hear you, and Ron has a nice triangle with a question mark in them. So
Oh no!
Oh, weird.
Oh yeah, because it's funny. I'm watching him. He's totally recording as we go.
Well, hey, as long as everybody else can hear him, I don't need to hear him go on about Chelsea this, Chelsea that.
Whatever, Mr. Sour Grapes about Liverpool. Oh, it's so great. He can't hear me.
He literally can't hear you. This is
I can't hear a word he's saying. I can't hear him. I can't see him. I can hear and see you, but this is fun.
Oh, this is great.
That is hysterical.
Captain and Manchester United is the greatest club.
You're a son of a bitch, Ron. I don't know what you're saying, but you're a son of a bitch.
Yeah, I like it. Fair.
I can't take any joy in anybody else winning if it's not Manchester United.
Wow, this is really good. I can't wait for Ferris to go back and listen to this episode.
Damn it. That and I have to pee so bad that I'm just like, oh my gosh.
This is so great.
I think we're about wrapped up, but I feel bad because Ferris, you don't know what's going on.
I have no clue what's going on right now. I'm watching Chelsea and Leicester in the FA Cup, and all I see is you, and I still have a blank screen for Ron.
That's weird. Should I go into the beer news or hold on?
Oh, beer news? Oh yeah, because we do have a little bit of beer news. Here you go, Ferris. Ron's gonna start beer news. Why don't you tap out and rejoin?
Yes, I'm gonna go. Yeah, so I'll do that.
Yeah, you tap out and rejoin, and Ron will go into the beer news. See if you can hear Ron then. Okay.
We should just start talking a whole bunch of trash about Man United so that when he catches on, it's like, oh, hey, Ferris is back.
You're allowed to. I can't because it's just going to make the beer taste worse that I have to drink in a few weeks.
Yeah, that's true.
Which I do feel like since he was a dumbass when he did it and tried to pair it by making an ice cream float out of it to make it better and it made it worse, I do feel like I got to find an ice cream that would go with the Snapper Head Pale Ale.
What kind? It's Pale Ale.
But it's butternut. So yeah, that's what its title is. That's what its variety is called.
It's not
but
really what it is.
It doesn't taste like it at all. No, it just.
Maybe you should just pour it over a bunch of lemon sherbet.
Oh yeah, totally cheat it. Just try to make it somewhat palatable. Oh, while we're waiting for Ferris to come back on, I will give everyone a nice summer drink. What do you want to call it? I tried an experiment. It turned out really good. Took some good gin and poured it over Italian ice mixed with just a tad of tonic water because it was hot. It's like a heat index of 108 down here. That was good. As the kids say, that ish was on fire. Or is it lit now? Is lit done? Are we back on fire?
I think lit's over.
Okay, we're back on fire. I think Ferris not only bailed out, I think he ran to go pee.
Yeah, probably.
So yeah, you can hit the beer news.
So beer news. Well, almost none of it's good, as you could probably tell, with cases in Florida and Texas and California and, forever. I mean, a ton of different states, the numbers going through the roof. U.S. brewers ship 1 million fewer barrels in June to a cost of $24.2 million.
Ugh.
So this isn't a good time to own a brewery.
Yeah, here in Florida, they stopped consumption on property again, so the breweries have gone to pick up.
Yeah. And it's, to be honest, it's the smartest thing. It really is.
We got you back, Ferris?
Yep, get me back.
Perfect.
I can see Ron again now.
Hooray! But it's a tough time to own a brewery now that, COVID is just spiking everywhere, and, it's just hard to see so much, 1 million barrels, a 1 million barrel declination in June. That's just tough. That puts essentially the brewing decline at about 18.9% over what it was just 2 months ago.
Which tells me we got to do our part by buying all the holiday beer when it starts to come out,
and fall beer, Oktoberfest beers, and those type of things. Can't forget about that.
Yeah, definitely go out and support your locals because they
Sun Creek
really
today.
need it.
Yeah, that's rough.
They really, really need it. And as we were saying, as the number of cases of COVID reach record highs, Texas and Florida basically ordered all of the bars to cease on-premise operations to the complete dismay of the citizenry, which I don't quite understand. But in this time, we've all got to make smart choices. Wear your mask and support your local beers, and don't be an idiot. Otherwise, you're going to be intubated in a hospital room, and that's no fun.
Yeah. Amen.
So the last bit of not that great news is that the Brewers Association, the USA Brewers Association, has laid off over a third of its workforce, 33%. They just had another layoff, and this time it was a 17% cutting of its workforce to be a total of 35% of the Brewers Association workforce is now out of business. So what's interesting is there is not that this part is not interesting with all the layoffs and stuff, but as the rebound of the economy comes in the aftermath of COVID, whenever that happens, we are on pace to produce a record number of breweries, and all of these people who have been laid off by other breweries are going to start opening their own breweries, and we could be in for some pretty amazing beers and a bit of a beer renaissance after this COVID hits or COVID subsides, because all of these people will be wanting to get back into the beer industry when it starts to become profitable again. So hopefully we can have things like the Great American Beer Festival and all these other conventions and festivals once this COVID finally passes on. The Brewers Association has lost just about 70% of its income due to the various issues with COVID. So we're poised for a good comeback, but we're going to have to rough out the winter.
Yeah, I think
sad to hear.
Yeah, there's no other way around that. It's going to be a rough winter. Tighten your belts. Support your local breweries.
Yeah.
Ferris had told Ron there's a good one coming out today at Sun Creek. It's a blueberry sour.
Yeah. Ron's favorite kind of beer.
Yeah.
Blech. Did you guys see the Carolina Cobbler beer?
No, but I want
No,
it.
Where's that at?
Yeah,
Where's that at?
I saw it on one of the beer forums. Let me just look it up real quick.
Because that sounds delicious. Apple cobbler, peach cobbler, or blueberry? Now I want a blueberry cobbler.
Divine Barrel Brewing, the blueberry Carolina Cobbler.
Where are they at?
It's a fruited Berliner Weiss, which is, it's about 4.2 rated on a scale of 5. And Divine Barrel Brewing is in, of all places, you guessed it, Charlotte, North Carolina. And the can art's pretty cool because it's a Carolina cobbler in a cast iron skillet.
Because cooking in cast iron is the best. I just used it this morning for breakfast.
So yeah, if you get around to that, check it out. let us know how it is. I haven't had it yet. That's about all the beer news.
All right, gents, it's all the news. It's fit to print. I think this about wraps us up. So if you want to follow us on the Twitters, on the Facebook, on Untapped, you can get linked to most of the stuff on www.thebrutifulgame.com. Leave us a rating or review on however you get your podcast, and it helps us out, as well as if you let us know, get a screen grab of it, we can send you. We got some koozies, we got some new magnets in, so we'll get you a little something in the mail. That covers, gents. Is that everything?
I think it about does.
Yeah. The only other news we really had was some of the stuff reopening here in Orlando. I don't know if you guys saw what was happening this weekend with the new the Legoland park, right? It was packed down there. Did you hear what was going on?
No.
People were lined up for blocks. Get it? They were lined up. 4 blocks.
Why did I come back from peeing? I should have just stayed off. Should have signed off right then.
That one was completely fantastic.
The best is, I would just like to point that the way that I discovered that is someone shared that with me, and I'll send you guys how it was shared to me, because it uses Star Trek. They made a Star Trek meme out of it, so I'm sending that your way now. Makes me very happy.
A Star Trek meme?
Yep.
That's interesting.
There you go. Little Captain Picard number 2.
That's funny. That's
funnier
than the joke itself.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you're welcome, gentlemen. I still got to record some, as Ferris challenged me on Twitter. I got to record some good dad jokes.
Yes, you do.
Well, I think that gets us at everything. Boom. That's it. We're good to go. We're ready to watch some more footy this weekend and actually talk about more footy next week. I'm so happy. All right, gents.
Love it.
Cheers. Love the beer. Cherish the game. The Brewtiful Game.
Be safe. Wear your mask.